we'll get going. So what I was saying, I mean, I honestly, like, I know time goes faster as you get older, blah, 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 whatever. We're all getting older. It sucks. But it goes so fast. Like, how is this freaking Christmas next week? I don't get it. How is this 2016? Like, I was just class of 2004, like yesterday. What the heck happened to my life? But anyways, we're getting ready to start this new year, and I just wanted to make time. We're all busy, especially this time of year, but I think it's important to just see each other's faces since we all can't get together for dinner and, just talk about, I've done a lot of reflecting on what's worked for me, what hasn't worked, what I want to do differently to really kind of have a solid plan to go into 2016. And I wanted to just be able to share some time with you guys to chat about that. I know you guys all know the importance of this, and you probably all saw my post in Fit Forward, but if you didn't for 2015 or you haven't yet for 2016, make your vision board. Do it now, like tonight, and really, really, really dream big and get all your goodies on there and set it as your desktop on your phone, in your background. I was so blown away that every single thing I put on my 2015 vision board came true. And, I was telling people on the Emerald call, you can't just make a vision board and then tuck it away in your 3-ring binder and never look at it again. I had that picture on my bulletin board, so I knew what I was shooting for, but I didn't just stare aimlessly at all these goals. I even forgot that I did this till I was thinking about how in the heck I actually made all those things happen. But I took those goals, I put on that vision board, and every month in my planner, I had reverse engineered smaller goals that I had written down. So every month I was working, just chipping away at these bigger goals. And then all of a sudden it's the end of the year and every single one of them came true. And I just wanted people to remember that, yes, a vision board is important and it's amazing to get it on paper and to see where you're shooting for. But if you don't make action out of those visions, then they're just going to sit there. So I want you guys to do that. And then I want you guys to help your coaches do the same thing so that they're not setting goals and then not achieving them next year. We all know that you have to have a purpose and a vision with this business. You can't have one or the other. You have to have both. So, and as you grow and as your teams grow and your businesses grow, you are going to kind of change that purpose. And the reason that you started might not change, but the reason that you keep pushing forward will have changed. So you have to step back and maybe take a minute tonight to think about, again, why you're doing this right now. What is it about your current situation or your current state that you need differently from this opportunity? Why do you want this to work? And what do you see happening in your life when this does really work? You guys should all know by now that being Diamond or Star Diamond coaches, but sometimes, when we hit big goals like Diamond or above, we lose sight of exactly why we're doing what we're doing. We start to overthink things. We get lost in the game of what everyone else is doing, and we let all of what we should be doing go. And we just sit and focus on what other people are doing, and we don't do anything for our own businesses. There's no secret sauce to maintaining and growing past Diamond at all. It's the same thing that got you to Diamond in the first place that's going to get you to 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and so on. I really want to challenge you to go back to the basics for 2016. It will not only help your business, but it's going to help show your teams and your downlines that it's really not that hard. And it's really just the basics over time and that consistency that makes this work. With the piece of consistency, remember to remind your teams, and I really hammered this on the Emerald call, that, it's give me a year. Not give me a month and then take a month off. Not give me 2 months and then take a break. It's 1 year of every single day. And the moment they take a day off, their year starts over. Your year starts over. If you've already been in this for a year, your new year starts on January 1st. Give yourself another year. For what? What are your goals for that next year? And remind yourself that day you don't show up, you start over and your year starts over. But really teach your teams that importance of that consistency over time. But when I was doing this and reflecting, a few things stood out to me that really helped me see what helped move Fit Forward kind of into a really big, strong team super fast. And these are kind of the things that I came up with. The first one was my genuine excitement to get people set up on a program. So, I did some reflecting, and I was really doing a lot more talking about them and the messaging and the phone calls that I was doing with these people before they got purchased a challenge pack, talking about their goals, their wants, their needs, and showing them how I really could be that helping hand to support them, and how my groups really could impact their lives and their success. And I really was good at that. And I took a lot of time building those relationships and watering those seeds with these people before they purchased. And I think that really made a big difference. Number two was my genuine excitement and passion for getting people started as coaches. And whether this was meeting them for coffee or doing face-to-face Zooms or getting them on the phone, I can't tell you how many times I heard almost a year later from coaches when they talk about their stories getting started, that one of the reasons was that they could hear the passion and the excitement in my voice. And that got me thinking, like, well, why don't I do that anymore as much? Like, instead of just sending them to the team blog, which is a great resource, why don't I get them on a call? And I shared this a couple other times with a couple other leaders, but I'm working on making an elevator YouTube speech where it's me talking to my potential person joining my team, telling them why I love coaching, what it's done for my life, just a 2-minute video so they can see my face, they can hear my passion and my excitement, and I can send that to them, because I don't have time to meet everybody for coffee anymore. But that'll kind of bridge that gap. And not saying that I don't have genuine excitement for either of these two things anymore, because I do, but as you grow, it becomes really difficult to show that when you have a larger volume of people to take care of. And then number three was simply doing and not getting lost in what I wanted to do. I didn't create in the beginning any fancy time-consuming systems or templates or websites or anything. I just posted and shared what I was doing. Even with my coaches, I didn't have new coach trainings for them. I'm not saying these are bad. I think every leader needs to invest at some point in making their own new coach trainings and doing their own calls and stuff like that. But at the time when I was getting going, I just shared what I was doing. I didn't spend time on any of these fancy things. And yeah, I saw other top coaches doing amazing blogs and ads and websites, and I wanted to do all that, but I knew I didn't have the time. I had to focus on what was going to move me forward immediately. And then if I had extra time, I would plug into a couple of those things. Number four was the value that I presented in my free groups and my challenge groups. And not saying that they don't provide value anymore, but I'm now majority buffer and less live. And then I still buffered in the beginning because I was working 2 full-time nursing jobs, and I don't think buffer's bad at all. But I posted a lot more of my live photos and, pictures of me in the moment doing things. And I was really present in those groups, and I was there for them for any questions they had. I got on the phone if they had questions. And you have to remember, these groups are their first experience seeing what you do as a coach. So let them be inspired by that. And then number 5 was working side by side with my coaches. And this is really hard for me to even put on this list, because it's not like I don't try to do that now. But again, the growing pains of becoming diamond and above, this gets harder to do. I still try to do this as much as I can, but now you really, as you're growing and you have more people to take care of, you have to work with the wall of the willing. You have to work with those people that are going to run with you. You can't dump energy into people that aren't going to take what you're offering. I give my time to the people who ask for my help or respond to my messages when I check in with them. What I mean by working side by side is sharing everything that was working for me, getting on phone calls, reminding them of their whys, reminding them of where they're at and where they wanted to be at this point. helping them pick apart goals, set bigger goals, see the vision, because a lot of times it just takes you putting that vision in their head to see that that's what they can really accomplish with this. With all that stuff being said, I wanted to just give you a few top tips as Diamond and Star Diamond coaches to focus on for entering in the new year. So number one is be a vulnerable leader. And what I mean by that is always lead by example. So use your team watching you as a driving force to keep yourself on track. Remember, you can never expect your team to do things that you're not doing. So whenever a Diamond coach tells me, I'm just not seeing my coaches move forward and nobody wants this and all that stuff, I'm not saying that you're not doing your job, but first and foremost, you always have to step back and look at what you're doing first and make sure that you are setting that example. If you're setting that example, then you look further into it and kind of see what they need to learn off of. Are they maybe more of a Zoom call learner? Are they more of a audio learner and they want to talk through things with you on the phone? Are they more of a email learner? Kind of really pick apart what they need. But first and foremost, you have to be leading by example. And what I mean by being vulnerable is that you have to let your team know that you're learning too and that you're failing too. Share what you learn, what works, what doesn't work. But then ask them to help. Ask them to step up and empower them to kind of be a leader on your team too. Use teamwork to build that bond and that connection and run groups together. Delegate as you grow to your up and coming coaches and small tasks. And that will, like I said, make them feel empowered and make them feel what it feels like to be a leader and be valued on your team. Number two is put your oxygen on first. So just like in a plane crash, if you don't put your oxygen on you first, you can't help anybody else. So as you're growing to Diamond and above, it becomes harder and harder to manage and balance helping your coaches and building your business. You have to build your business first and do your tasks first, or you will not have a business soon before you know it. So yes, you have to help your team. Yes, you have to mentor your coaches. But before doing all that, you have to spend time growing you, or you're not going to have anything to nurture. So put your oxygen on first. Number three is set goals. I mean, big, big goals, and share these goals with your audience. Sharing my goals with my audience is what helps some people see what this opportunity could do for them. So I said this on the Emerald call, think of it like a before and after photo of a program. Sharing your goals and your visions for what you want to do with this business is like sharing a before and after photo of what a program can do. It's sharing what this business can do. And it helps people's wheels get turning about how this could impact their life. I want you to set your biggest goals, the goals that you honestly don't think you could ever achieve, and put those on your vision board, and then make small stepping stone goals backwards throughout the year, and sprinkle those in. And then after reaching 2-star, I started to just set small goals, and I just make myself Emerald every 2 weeks. And that was a really good way for me to make sure I was recruiting enough and make sure I was popping enough Emeralds, because we all know Emeralds are the foundation of our downlines. The more Emeralds you have, the stronger your teams will be. So not only for you to pop Emeralds over and over, but your downlines to do the same thing. It turns 90 PV into 3 times that, because that's 3 people. It's tripling your income. It's tripling your volume. You want as many Emeralds as you possibly can. So never overlook those Emerald or Bust groups. Never overlook that Emerald in a Day template. If you want to take those templates from me and run with them and make them your own, great. Go ahead and do it. But that's the best thing you can do for your business. Continue to make your dream team images and write out the names of your downlines. So when we all got started, we all, in our TKO planners and all that good stuff, we had our dream team vision, and we put all these names in these 8 empty slots, and we pictured who was going to build us to Diamond. You have to do that same thing with 5-star and 2-star. And I shared those in the leaders group today. I posted a bunch of pictures of of images that people shared of how they were visualizing their downlines on Google Forms. And I love that visual. I can't wait to do that for my own team. But whatever you do, whatever way, whether it's paper or Google or whatever, visualize what is going to get you to those big goals. Number 4 is talk about your freaking team. So seriously, there's a lot, I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of leaders that don't even do this. And the more you talk about your team and what your team consists of and what your team's goals are and visions are and where your team's going and all that good stuff, the more people are going to know what they can be a part of. If you never tell your audience that you are leading a team right now that's on track to be a top 50 team in 2016, they're not going to know that. Maybe they're going to join another coach because they don't know that you're doing that great. As a diamond coach, you're in the top 1% of the entire company. Tell people that. It sounds like you're being conceited or whatever, talking about that stuff, but get over that. That's not what it is. You're telling people that, hey, I'm a boss, like I'm running a great team. We are going places and I want you to join me. I would want to join a team like that. I don't know about you. But talk about that and don't just do the talking through recognition posts. You have to go beyond those recognition posts. Those Thursday posts are just part of our job as coaches to recognize people. You have to take it above and beyond that. You have to break it apart into layman's terms so these audience that's following you will be able to see, wow, they're going to shoot for elite next year. What does elite mean? Oh, they're going to be top 50. Oh, they're top 1%. Oh my gosh, there's almost 400,000 teams in there in the top 1%. That's really powerful. Like, she knows what she's doing and she could help me make this work for me too. Number 5 is empower your coaches. So help them dream big and set big goals. So if you don't show them what's possible, they're never going to reach outside their comfort zones to push for bigger dreams. They're going to keep setting goals like Emerald in March of 2016. It's got to stop. And it stops with you telling them that goal needs to be modified and that they can do a lot better than that because you believe in them. They need to know that you believe in them. Help them get started right. Be there for them as much as you can in the beginning, but then do not be afraid to put your foot down and set them free. After you give them all the tools that they need, you have to cut the cord. And remember, it's up to them to choose to use those tools. Don't hold their hand for too long or you're going to create a crutch for them and a reason for them to never fly solo. You got to set them free. And then if they fall and come crawling back to you, you're going to nurture them back up to where they want to be. But once you give them all the tools, it's in their hand and they got to choose what they want to do with it. Number 6 is set a system. So you have to run this business by a system. You have to. You have to treat it like a career and not a hobby. So for example, I like to do super dorky things like grandmas like to do. Like I like to knit and I like to sew. Those are some hobbies of mine. But I don't schedule time to knit and I don't schedule time to sew. I occasionally will sit down and rock out a pattern and make a scarf, but I don't schedule that time. And that's how a lot of people run their businesses. They'll create a post when they feel like it. They might complete a pattern here and there, and they might complete a to-do list here and there, but they're kind of willy-nilly all over the place. And they're treating it like a hobby, and that's not a successful system for a business. You get the picture. They're not going to go anywhere that way. Now, think about a full-time job. You have hours you have to show up. You have every day you have to clock in, clock out. You have deadlines you have to meet, people you have to report to, relationships you have to maintain. That is treating it like a career. Now, benefit of this business, treating it like a career, you get to call the shots of when those deadlines are. You get to make those hours. Yes, you're going to put in a lot of hours in the beginning, but I promise you later on, if you do that every day for a year, you're barely going to feel like you're working and you're going to reap all the benefits of it. But you set those deadlines, and everybody knows I worked harder in the first 6 months of this business than I ever did the entire time I've been a coach, almost 2 years now. And I did that because I wanted this so badly, and I wanted to reach those goals, and I knew that that's what it took. But now 2 years later, I'm able to work half the time and earn more of an income and benefit from that flexibility now. So talk with your families, talk with your support systems, and pick times where you can step away for just 30 minutes a day. But don't step away and then get on Facebook and scroll, or, get on a podcast. And I'm not saying PD is not bad, but don't find yourself 2 hours later then not having done anything. But I'm just as guilty of every one of you with a new freaking to-do list because you just got 25 new ideas. And that's not going to get you anywhere because you still have your old to-do list over here that you haven't done yet. That's what I do all the time. I don't know about you. But we got to use those PDs as, as like a boost. Like a Shakeology boost is a super lame reference, but, use it as a boost to your shake. Don't let it water you down and bog you in what you're supposed to be doing. So just like you have to put your oxygen on first before you plug into extra stuff and before you start new tasks, make sure you get what you have to be getting done first. But things that you should make sure you include when you are getting your 30 minutes or whatever you have a day are your month in review. And what I want you guys to do, I did this the other day. It was really eye-opening. And granted, it was a little skewed because baby and all that stuff. But go to your social media platform of choice, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Look at your last 30 days of posts. And then step back and be like, okay, if I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know me at all, would I know what a coach was? Would I know what Shakeology was? Would I know what fitness programs Beachbody has? Would I know what a challenge group is? Would I know what I like to do? Would I know that I have cats or I like to sew or knit? Or, people often forget to post about who we are, and like attracts like, so we can't forget to share that. But really look at that. And then, so when you're moving forward in 2016, I'm planning on creating, this surplus of posts and then organizing it like a story. So my months make sense to my audience. So it all leads up to something purposeful. So when I run a help wanted ad, I've done that jab, 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 and that right hook is going to get them, and then, so your social media posts, another thing, now that you're leaders, we don't have to worry about you guys posting at high times. We don't have to worry about you not posting a bit help wanted ad on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. We got all that down. But take it a step further and make it more streamlined. Choose a color scheme that you're going to follow. Add your team logo to all your posts. Make everything look cohesive. And especially on Instagram, make that all look like when they land on your page, it's super crisp and clean and it makes sense. And it's all in the same realm of attractiveness, so like they're not kind of all over the place. And I used to do this. I used to use the same font on every post. I used to use the same colors on every post. And I love that. I don't know why I got away from that. So I'm going to definitely do that again in 2016. And then make time for your messages and follow-ups, because you all know as leaders now, your posts are still your breadcrumbs. They're still your seeds. But when you're wearing out your warm market, the magic is in your messages and your follow-ups and your referrals. And then the next thing on your to-do list would be check-ins with your groups, your challenge groups and your free groups, because we can't lose the importance of those. And then with your coaches. And then making time to make some videos and trainings and hosting calls for your teams. They must see you as a leader. I don't want you to spend time making videos and trainings if you have not done your to-do list yet. Those are all extras. Those are all above and beyond. Don't let that kind of get you off track. But, even if it's just a 2-second video on your phone, like, hey guys, I just found this in the FAQ. I just wanted to pop in and let you all know what I saw and post it in your team page. Whatever it is, but make them see you as a leader. And, hosting your own team calls, that's scary. Even if nobody shows up. My first call, nobody showed up. My second call, there was 3 people on. Beauty of running a call, nobody knows how many people are on. You turn the entry notice off and there's no dinging. There's no noises. It can say 0 callers and you can rock that call like there's 50 people on. and no one would know a difference. And then you post a recording, and then they have that content, and then you have that recording with that training saved for your team as a resource for later down the road. So just get out of your comfort zone and kind of start doing those things. And then I shared this, I don't remember what group, but Chelsea Pearson shared an example of, she started on Instagram because she was really embarrassed of posting on Facebook when she started, and Instagram she knew nobody on. So she kind of just got on Instagram, and she decided, how we do our challenge groups and we're like, only 2 spots left, yada, yada. She kind of did that with her Instagram, and she's like, so many people have been asking me about this program that I'm doing, and so many people have been asking me about meal prep, and every post that she did, she prefaced it with how all these people were asking her, begging her to share her information when nobody was. Not one person. But she made herself seem like she was this very knowledgeable resource, but she was a knowledgeable resource. But by wording it that way and presenting it that way, it drew a lot of people to her. And I thought that was really powerful because it, showed that what a strong presence she was and the value that she had to offer. So I think that that's a really great way to kind of put a spin on your post. And another thing I heard recently that was a great tip was all the objections that you get from customers about price, about Taste of Shakeology, about, time, whatever it is, turn that into a social media post, because they're not the only one with that objection, and I was thinking about doing this post the other day, and I saw a coach I love to follow, Brittany Leggett. She posted about it, how she now drinks her Shakeology just with water. And I used to never be able to handle that taste, and now I just drink it with water. Why not, post about those objections about people like, well, I don't have a blender. Make that into a post. And I never thought really about turning all those objections into such powerful posts, but just, a little light bulb went off for me. But just remember, public posts on your social media plant the seed, personal invites water them. It takes 75 to 90 days for any type of seed a farmer will tell you to germinate. And you have to remember, a farmer doesn't sit over those seeds and dump water on it multiple times a day and just wait for it to sprout. They water it occasionally, and then they are patient and they wait for it to harvest. So, don't plant that seed and then be down these people's throats and wondering why they're not joining you. If you're doing your job on social media and with your follow-ups, that's enough nurturing for those seeds. Do not drown your seeds, just be patient. And as long as you're doing your job, they'll sprout. You guys have no idea how I'm still in disbelief that this is actually my job and that this is actually as successful as it is. I honestly, yes, I talked about it like I believed in it, but there was a huge part of me that felt like I was going to fail, and I was so nervous to try because I didn't want it to fail. But I know that every single one of you can end next year as an elite coach. It can change your life financially. It can change your schedule for your families. And you guys have the power to instill the belief that this can do this for your teams too. And that's the coolest job on earth, to be able to be like, hey, I have this job that can literally make you have the coolest freaking life ever. Let's do this together. And, don't be afraid to help your teams dream big. So, that's kind of all I got for you, but we have about 10 minutes left. So if you guys, I don't see anybody's done anything in the chat, but there's not too many of us on. So what do you guys have on your plates or on your minds or anything like that you want to kind of break apart or chat about? Anything that I said that made sense or you want to expand on or didn't make sense?
I liked your elevator YouTube speech. I need to do one of those.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty powerful. And then another thing, I haven't had your call yet with your team, Jenna, but on the team calls, I was sharing with everybody what I'm going to do different in 2016. That's one of them. And then the other one was doing more video presence in my challenge groups. So just hopping on a Sunday night if I have, 10 minutes downtime and just being like, hey, if anybody has questions about meal prep, hop on this Zoom call. I'll talk through things with you. Or if anybody wants to ask questions about whatever, or in the beginning too of the groups, the kickoffs of the groups, getting on a Zoom and kind of walking through the getting started booklet. Anything that can be more face-to-face to really kind of nurture those relationships. But one question that was asked in the Emerald call on the chat was a great one that I think you guys should all take home to your teams. I'm going to make a file and fit forward about it too, but to talk through with your coaches, they were asking we're asking everybody to create these vision boards. A lot of people are going to have income things on these vision boards because that is what a lot of us need to be able to stay home. And they were asking how to compute like what you need to do volume wise to earn X amount of income. So if you guys can take that home to your teams or direct them to the file I'll make and fit forward, but it's just about dividing out the volume to earn those cycle bonuses. And then if they want to add extra income from challenge pack sales, computing that out too.
What's that file going to be called, Sarah?
I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Probably something really clever like how to calculate income from volume. I don't know.
Take notes. Put this on my to-do list, okay?
Yeah. Anybody else got any goodies or no?
I love what you said about the seed. I feel like that is huge for social media.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, you have to I was like embarrassed to even look back at my feed. And like I said, I don't want to use having a baby as an excuse, but if you look back at your 30 days, like what would a stranger think if they landed on your page? And if you're doing your job there, that's enough watering in general.
I have a random question.
Yeah.
Oh no, I totally just half lost it. Seriously, pregnancy.
Prego brain.
So when you're reverse engineering and such, how do you not get, I guess the word might be sidetracked. Like,
Yeah.
How do you really say, no, quit focusing on that and just dig into XYZ or things like that? I guess I'm just struggling with that.
Like for what would you want to, give me an example of what to reverse engineer so I can help better?
So an income goal, but with the second CBC kind of stuff, because I just know there are just a lot of options, but it's more or less, do I build systems for new coach trainings? Do I focus on recruiting hardcore? Do I, those kinds of things? And in the coffee talk, I love the month on, month off with the recruiting versus challenge groups.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But I get into planning these reverse engineer things and then I get detailed and I get sidetracked.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, those are just kind of markers along your way. Never use that to get you so sidetracked that you're not doing, in my opinion, those month-to-month things are more important than reaching those reverse engineered goals. The reverse engineering is perfect to help you, keep in your mind, okay, I need about three new coaches a month. Mm-hmm. But, that was what I needed for 2015. But there was a lot of months where I got 0, but then other months where I got 6, other months where I got 9, so obviously that's kind of going to be a fluctuation. You have to kind of take that as just a fluid goal or a fluid, guideline, but reverse engineering income with multiple CBCs can be very, very, very tricky because it goes through not only your first CBC, but your second and your spouses if you have them, and it gets super confusing. So I think it would come down to where your volume's at, because I would have to take a peek at, if you have a really killer strong leg and you just got to beef up your weak leg, then we got to focus on empowering those weak-led coaches. So, maybe some trainings for them, or maybe wherever they're at, trainings wouldn't be beneficial for your time and you should just focus more on recruiting heavily. I think everybody, until they're a strong, personally from my own experience, everybody until they're a strong 2-star should make recruiting their top priority. And then, videos and stuff like that are just bonus and extra.
Cool.
Because, recruiting is going to be exactly what you need to get there. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind to take a look at your volume and help you figure out kind of where to hammer in.
Okay.
Really, it just takes apart when I'm shooting for big goals and income goals, I look at my downline and I group message or individually message my weak leg coaches that I need to get fired up because I have a strong leg and those are the ones that I need moving. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, reverse engineering is really good, but it can kind of get you. I totally hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like it'll take me away from the basics where I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do that this last week at all or month. And yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But again, it kind of comes back to that social media thing in those posts. Like if you're doing those other things, they'll all kind of just fall into place. And if you're doing that month-to-month stuff, that'll all fall into place. But yeah, I just had mine. So my planner I have has the calendar, the month view, and I would just have mine on the side. There's a notes column, and that's where I would have like my month's little broken down thing. And if I didn't hit those, then the next month I'd be like, okay, I'm supposed to up it this month. And instead of me feeling drowned by those or whatever, I would just use it as to kind of tweak my focus or whatever.
I just want to say one quick thing. I'm really thankful that you talked about doing the breadcrumbs with like really talking up the team, because I've been questioning like why I haven't been able to find new people, and I feel like that's probably spot on why, because I post stuff about workouts and like challenge group like things all the time, but you're right. I'm definitely one of those that doesn't do that, so I actually just buffered one for tonight. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's going to help me.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that. Something super like duh. What's that?
I'm glad we talked about that on the coffee talk. That's good. We're going to get cut off, but I'll post the recording for this too. And then if you guys have anything else, post in the leaders group. I hope it was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.